Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I am the NFL genius, Gene Walzek, and to my left, I have Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cuttrell.
Gene, you sound fired up today.
I mean, first of all, I'm EA Sports. I'm in a game. I am fired up. I'm fired up about a lot of reasons, though. I'm in a great mood, but I'm also in a very debating, argumentative mood. Is that fair?
Well, lucky for you, today is Wednesday. Like, that's what we're here for. Like, let's get into one of those classic shows where we just are on the opposite side of things, or maybe we're on the same side of things. Who knows?
No. It's we will definitely be on the opposite side of one of these things. I know it. I understand it. I am. I know where you're at. I understand where you're at, but we'll get there. I hope Tony Gladstone's in the chat tonight. I really do. Hope you check in because I got a lot to say to you. I got a lot to say to you. What's popping, Coach? What's happening, Nick? Watching from the living room. Appreciate you. Listening from the living room. Play it on there. Shally should be joining us next week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. I don't know. Hopefully he jumps in soon. But we got a lot to get into. But we're going to start with Hot Wire and Mr. Terrence Bud Crawford.
Absolutely. So that is exactly where we're starting. Gene, this was a fight that, a lot of people were calling fight of the century. You had two of the biggest names in boxing. And, we came on here last week and we said that Bud Crawford was the guy. We said he should get the win. Like, we didn't really see a path of victory for Canelo just based on how Bud has looked in his most recent fights. And, Saturday came and that was exactly what we saw. It felt like, Canelo was giving it his all in there, but Bud was just flat out better. Gene, did you see anything different there? Or you think I'm off base there? Or what were your thoughts on the fight?
First of all, you're spot on. You're spot on. Bud Crawford was the better boxer. And what I said last week was I did not see any break in the armor. I didn't. I thought Bud Crawford was the better boxer, and I've never seen his chin checked. And he went up in multiple weight classes and outboxed Canelo Alvarez. To me, it's not about whether he was going to win. It was how much he was going to win by. I felt, and Shally will be on shortly, hopefully. I don't know. He's always late. I had an 8-4. That's the way I scored the fight. What did you score it as? I'm sure you scored it because I know you're very similar to me.
Yeah, so I did score it. I want to say I was right there with you, 8-4. I may have had it 7-5. I don't quite remember fully because I actually, not gonna lie, I feel a little washed saying this, but after third round, I was knocked out. So I was up, I was waiting for it. Everything happens. Third round comes, I'm out, knocked out cold. So then I have to watch it back. And I had to see what everybody was talking about. Obviously, I knew Bud had won, but I had to watch it back there. But I believe I also had it 8-4. I mean, there was a couple of the earlier rounds where it felt like it could have been, either way. Bud was I'd say more efficient or, better striker in the rounds there. But for the most part, I mean, I didn't think that there was a shot unless, boxing did the boxing thing and screwed over Bud. But I didn't think there was a shot that Canelo, was gonna win this fight based on the scorecards.
You got to understand the boxing thing's the boxing thing, though. And it happens all the time in boxing. That's what always scares me.
I know.
It scares me. And I was worried. I knew Bud was the better boxer. I knew Bud won the fight. But if you watch the first Triple G versus Canelo fight, Triple G was the better boxer. Triple G won the fight. But that's not what the judges scored. That's not how the judges scored the fight. So, and I think that Shally came on late. I do. Because he picked Canelo.
I didn't pick Canelo.
Kidding, bro.
Out of here.
Vegas finally got it right. I mean, I think 8-4 was right. I think they actually were teetering it. I don't think it was 7-5. I think two judges had 7-5, and I thought that was teetering. I was teetering between 8-4 and 9-3. What'd you have the fight, Joe?
I thought 8-4 was fair. I think if you watch that fight objectively, I think there's definitely a couple rounds you give Canelo, but after that, I think at worst case, a couple of them were even. But I think Bud was the busier fighter. And he was aggressive. I actually didn't think Bud was going to probably take the approach that he did necessarily in that fight, which was a little surprising, but he just stood in the pocket and just showed he was a better boxer. I thought it was very, very impressive. I thought it was 8-4. I thought he was in control of the fight the whole time. Never any danger. Definitely hit Canelo with a couple shots that Canelo even, kind of shook his head and didn't know where they came from and was kind of impressed. And Canelo was very respectful after the fight and talking about Bud, but thought it was a masterclass. Thought it was, like I said, I think impressive is the word that keeps sticking in my head. I thought it was, I don't quite say dominant, but it was, like I said, he was in control of that fight, and he went out and won that fight. It wasn't going to be something where he was going to, leave any kind of gray area. To your point, he went out one round after round after round after round, made it impossible for anybody to watch that fight. I don't care how big of a Canelo fan you are. If you're an objectional boxing fan and know how boxing is scored, there's no way you thought anybody but Bud won that fight.
I agree. CJ asks, where else can we watch live? YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, as well as Facebook. Here's the question I want to ask. This is the one question I left that fight with. Not whether or not Bud won the fight, because he did. Actually, there's two questions, but one is it time to have the conversation that he's better than Floyd Mayweather? Or who does he have to beat next to be better than Floyd Mayweather? I'll start with you, Charlie.
I mean, I think the conversation is definitely there. If we're being honest, Canelo put it out there in his press conference. Canelo made no bones about it. He came out and he flat out said, oh, no, Bud is much better than Floyd Mayweather. And I think for Canelo to be out there in the ring with both of them and for him to come out there and definitively say that, I do think that is one of the important things to kind of note there. As far as who can he beat, I mean, at this point, like I feel like Canelo is the top of the food chain, so to speak, in the boxing world right now. Like, I don't know if there's anybody else fighting right now where I'm like, all right, if Bud goes out there and definitively, beats them, especially anywhere near that weight class, like if he goes out and definitively beats them, then that would make him the undisputed, go to the sport or, submitting his spot in the Mount Rushmore. Like, I don't see anybody out there that would do that. So for me, I think the conversation needs to be had now.
I think that Benavidez would be the person that you'd have to put him up against for him to have that like extra fight, right? So here's the problem. And I don't mean to say this in a rude way to Bud, because I think Terrence Bud Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. That's my opinion. However, comparing resume to resume, fighters to fighters, Floyd's definitely has the better resume. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, what the problem is that Floyd handpicked a lot of those fights and when he fought them. Like when he fought Ricky Hatton, when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, when he fought different guys on that team. But if you go boxer for boxer, Floyd 100% has the longer resume. I think Crawford's better. Shally, if I'm asking you, if he fights and beats Benavidez, who at 168, does that put him over the top, or you already have him there?
I agree with you. I already have him there. I think you brought up a really good point. I think if you put the resumes next to each other, to the casual, Floyd's is going to look a lot better. But you brought up, I don't know if it was you or Cotrella just said it. I think it was you. He handpicked a lot of those, and when he fought him, like he fought Manny 3 years later than he should have. He held that fight up for all the BS over and over, and then they finally fought. You know, you look at Shane Mosley, who in his prime was a great boxer. He fought Shane Mosley when he was 39 years old. Miguel Cotto, another guy from our generation, in his prime was a bad man, but he fought him when he had 8 losses and he was almost at the bottom on the downside. He fought Oscar way past his prime. You know, it's tough, man. I mean, you know, you look at, I think Floyd has 8 more fights. I think Bud has 1 more finish. You know, and I think the only problem you really have is Canelo is really the link between the two. And you know, and I think Floyd was smart fighting Canelo when he fought Canelo. He fought Canelo when he was still really young. And Canelo was still a beast, don't get me wrong. So I'm not saying he didn't fight a good Canelo, but Canelo wasn't the boxer that he is now. And for him to say now, you know, that unequivocally Terrence is the better fighter, that's interesting to me. You know, I think Bud and Floyd are similar. I do. I think Bud is a tactician just like Floyd is. I don't want to downgrade Floyd. I don't like Floyd. But again, if you watch the man box, you have to understand how good he is at it. The fact that guy could win a fight and sometimes never get touched is incredible. But I think Terrence, for me, gets the edge there because I think he fights defensively and can be a counterpuncher like Floyd. But like we saw Saturday night, he can also go in and just stand in the middle of the ring and beat somebody. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw Floyd do that. So for me, I think if you put them in there in their prime, I think it's a great fight. But to my last point, I think Bud is the better offensive fighter. I would put Bud ahead of Floyd. I think Floyd. I just think Floyd handpicked too many big names at the end. I don't want to say duck them, but postpone them long enough to where he knew he was going to be physically the more gifted fighter. Terrence Crawford never ducked anybody. Terrence Crawford begged to fight certain people. So for me, it's Bud.
See, the problem though is this, and Cottrell, I want to ask you because I know that you're a little younger. So I don't know how much of this you remember, like the beginning of Floyd, like the Arturo Gatti days. But outside of Sean Porter, Errol Spence, and Canelo Alvarez, there's not Amir Khan, another one. There's not many big names that Terrence Crawford fought. Floyd Mayweather fought Super Zab Judo, Arturo Gatti, Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Juan Manuel Marquez, Sugar Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, Marcus Maidana twice, Manny Pacquiao, Andre Berto. That is a lot more big names. Now, granted, some of them were handpicked at the times of when they fought. But with that being said, I don't want to discredit the greatness of Floyd Mayweather. I just think the one thing I'll say is this, right? I've seen methods of victory. I thought Oscar De La Hoya beat Floyd Mayweather. Like I had that fight scored 115, 113 for Oscar. I was perfectly fine with it being scored for Floyd. Floyd was the cleaner fighter. Oscar was more of the bully, pushing him into the ropes, punching a lot of arms, punching a lot of gloves. I was fine with that. The Juan Manuel Marquez fight, a lot of people thought he lost the first one. I didn't think he lost the first one, but it was close. I have never watched a Terrence Bud Crawford fight. And it's funny because I'd love to get your opinion, but the comparison to Habib Nurmagomedov is really there because I've never seen Habib stunned. I've never seen him damaged. I've never seen him take that fight. And that's the same thing I say about Terrence Crawford. I have not seen him hurt.
So here's the one thing, though, that I will say with that. One, we've seen, and granted, you know, maybe the big names necessarily aren't there, but Bud is one of those guys where he's just been active. I mean, the last, 6, 7, like very active, like last 6, 7 years, like where
you know you're
getting fights from him every single year. And, you know, to Bill's point earlier, he hasn't necessarily ducked anybody. So while his resume might not be the same there, it's not like it was it was him saying, oh, I don't want to go against this guy. I don't want to go against that guy. Like, we've openly been on the show talking about how down essentially that boxing has been. Like, I think it's more so, a damning thing with the sport as opposed to an indictment on Bud specifically there. Like, I think it would be one thing if, Bud was in a different era and all these guys, like all the guys you mentioned that Floyd fought, whether it be, Manny or De La Hoya or Mosley, like all those guys were around at the same time. Boxing didn't have all those guys like anywhere near that weight class. Like when boxing the past, I'd say 5 to 10 years, boxing had been primarily a heavyweight sport. Like if it wasn't heavyweight, a lot of people didn't care about what was going on in the boxing world. So that's not a detriment necessarily to Bud. I think it's just he was just unfortunate to be in an era where there aren't that many high profile names that he can just put on his resume. So I mean 42-0, and I also think the way that he goes out and wins is different as well. Like yes, it is very impressive how Floyd does it. Like he is the counter striker. He can go out there and not be touched, for a large margin of the fights there. But Bud's going out there, and anytime he steps in the ring, he is a threat to put the guy down on the opposite side of him. And I think one, of course, like the entertainment factor, you automatically, if you're seeing guys always getting knocked out, things like that, like, of course, you're going to associate dominance with that. But I look at it like that Spence fight for me was the one where I was just like, all right, he's in there with the killer. And he put him down, like absolutely put him down.
He put him down like a good dog.
Exactly. So like seeing that, like at the tail end of Floyd's career, last thing I'll say here, tail end of Floyd's career, he was going in there. You're like, all right, Floyd's going to go out. He's going to outpoint the guy, and we're going to go from there, and we're going to just move on. With Bud, that's not the case. It's like, all right, is he going to knock him out? Is he going to just bully him and just essentially play with his mental for 12 rounds? Like, what's going to happen here? And so that's why, personally, for me, I give that slight edge to Bud.
I think it's a great point because, like, I remember Floyd's last couple of fights and people would be like, oh, like, we're having people over, you want to come watch it? And I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, oh, like, you're a hater. I'd be like, no, I'm not a hater. Like, I'm telling – and, like, to Kuchel's point, I'm like, Floyd's going to win that fight 11 rounds to 1. Like – the guy he's getting in the ring with isn't going to be able to touch him. It's going to be boring. I just don't want to watch it. And again, and some of that is a testament to how good Floyd is. But it also piggybacks on what Cottrell said. It's I didn't want to watch Floyd dance around for 36 minutes. Have a guy sit there and try to hit him, miss. Floyd hit a couple jabs, go the other corner, do the same thing. Like it just wasn't fun for me.
You're right. It's not fun. It's not fun. I agree with you.
No, again, I don't like Floyd, but again, I don't want to sit here and argue, to your point, make it sound like I'm saying I don't want to take away from his greatness either, because again, he's a phenomenal boxer. Me personally, I just have Terrence ahead of him now. But again, I don't want to take anything away from Floyd or anything he's accomplished, his legacy, anything like that, because it's up there. It's up there with the best of them. I would have loved to see Terrence be 10 years younger and come up with that whole group with all those guys you mentioned, like come up with Oscar, Floyd, Cotto, all those guys. And it's because those even those guys, a lot of those guys ended up with 10, 12 losses when it was all said and done because they probably hung around too long. But to Gene's point, they were all household names. Everybody knew who Gotti was. Everybody knew who, Zab Judah was. Like everybody knew all those guys. And there's a lot of guys that, like I said, if you put Bud's resume in front of a casual fan, they might not know anybody. So it's tough. It's just funny because me and Cottrell were talking a couple weeks ago. I want to say Bud's two fights ago, wasn't even on pay-per-view. It was on ESPN Saturday Night Boxing. It was free. And I can't remember who he fought, and he just dominated for 12 rounds, but he only made like $4 million, and it was who he had to fight. But like he just doesn't get the notoriety. He's just a quiet guy. I'm glad he finally got his big payday with Canelo. But it's just crazy. I mean, like, you could have tuned in ESPN 10 o'clock, turned it on, it was for free. You never would have saw any of these other guys.
Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
But I want to address CJ's point real quick. He said, is there an amount of money that puts Bud and Floyd in the ring? Is it worth watching? Let me just be very clear when I say this. I don't mean to be rude. That would be a minus 1100 for Bud Crawford right now. This is not Floyd's prime. Floyd's like 48 years old. They're not fighting. That's not happening.
No, and Floyd can't get in there, and because I mean, if you do it, that's an actual sanction. One of the big things that Floyd, I think, realized, and again, you can say what you want about it. He's also a very good businessman.
50-0 is a lot different than 49-0.
Correct, but the O is the important part. 50-0 is a lot different than 50-1. So it's, I mean, and that because it's, I mean, you look at boxing across all the arguments of the generations, and we laugh about how an NBA comparison about like some of the guys that played way back in the day. Gene always makes the joke they're playing against postman and plumbers and stuff, but some of the boxing way back in the day wasn't good either. But you still have a couple guys that are sitting there, 55-0, and it's hard to argue.
Talking about the most overrated boxer of all time, Mike Tyson?
No, I'm not even talking about Mike, but it's I agree with you on that though. But
I just like saying it because I want to get a rise out of someone.
Not gonna be me.
No, I
but I mean, and listen, that's how Floyd made a lot of money. Floyd is not getting in the ring with Terrence Crawford right now. That is. I mean, maybe if you threw, I don't know. Is $100 million too much to walk away from? I don't know.
The only way that Floyd would ever step in the ring with Bud is if it is flat out known that it's an exhibition match and it's not going up against either of their records. That is the only way that fight would ever happen.
But see, that does nothing for Bud at that point, though.
Gets the money. Gets the money though.
I don't want to talk about the Saudi money. That drives me nuts. The amount of money that they're WrestleMania. 250.
Well, they're buying. I say they're buying everything. So.
All right, we got to move. We're 20 minutes in. WNBA playoff update. We got to talk about my man Nick Reyes. I want to talk about Nick Reyes. Nick, are you still in the chat, Nick?
Is he Joanna man? Like what does WNBA have to do with?
So Adrian's brother Nick,
forever.
Adrian's brother Nick is my guy. Love him.
Before we get off boxing, though, R.I.P. Ricky Hatton, by the way. Crazy.
He's in the chat. I personally think that Nick Reyes is the reason the Las Vegas Aces winning streak is now over. I do. So if you don't know, Nick Reyes, that the Aces would win in 2 games. He made a bet that they would win in 2. And last night, the Las Vegas Aces up 14 in the third quarter, up 8 going into the fourth, up 6 with 3 minutes left. Fell apart to the Seattle Storm. And I think Nick's the reason. I truly believe it.
I'm not even going to lie. I thought they won last night because I turned it off with like 5 minutes to go and they were winning. I just assumed they won until you just said they lost. I didn't even look today.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, no, they definitely lost.
I just assumed they won.
Last night, Storm and the Fever both forced a game 3, 86-83 Storm. Great performances by Nneka Ogwumike and one of my favorite players, Mrs. Skylar Diggins. Dropping 26. They also have Gabby Williams. They got 3 girls that can light it up. Gabby did not play great basketball yesterday. She did what she needed to do. But the other 2, absolutely. Nneka and Skylar handled business. And the Seattle Storm forcing the game 3. It's super important to win, to take these teams out when you can, because in a game where anything can happen in a game 3, especially with your Seattle, you have 3 players that can light up the scores like Skylar, Nneka, and Gabby. Anything can happen.
Can we just all
for the Aces?
I think they go back home and win.
Not at all. I think the biggest thing for me in that series is, and granted, they shouldn't have lost how they did, but I mean, the Aces haven't lost since like July. I mean, beginning of August. Like, I know it hasn't literally been July, but beginning of August, I think they were on like a 15-16 game winning streak there. So it was going to come to an end there at some point. I agree with you. You want to finish those teams off when you can, especially just kind of given how injuries have kind of plagued a lot of the league this season so far. Like, you've seen Nafisha Collier have her injuries, off and on throughout the season. Obviously, Caitlin is out. So, like, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you want to make sure you get through these series unscathed. And so, ultimately, though, I think Vegas will be just fine. I think they take care of business. They realize they blew an opportunity there, and I think they'll come out with their hair on fire and take care of business.
Any worries about the Atlanta Dream falling to the Indiana Fever in 3 games?
No, I think they have something to be kind of worried about there. If you watch that game, Atlanta's offense, and you give credit to the Fever's defense, but Atlanta's offense really just had nothing going. And, you have Kelsey Mitchell and you have Aaliyah Boston as that, dynamic duo in that game there. And I think those are players who, in this series, as opposed to the Aces and Storm, no matter what names you say, Asia Wilson is going to be the best player on the court. So I always am going to lean with whatever team she's on in this series. Like, Atlanta doesn't have that Asia Wilson. Of course, Alicia Grace had a phenomenal season and she's been great there, but that's a completely different thing than having Asia there. So I think when you're going up against a Fever team that has Kelsey and has Aaliyah, and especially in a game that you look at in game 2 where you only score 60 points, you absolutely have to think you're in some danger there to lose the series.
Do the Lynx and Liberty lock it up tonight?
I think so, but judging by what happened last night, maybe not. And I think that's, I think you have to applaud the ladies here and a testament to the league in general and how much parity there is now. You go back a couple years ago, was first round, everybody's getting swept. Second round, maybe 3 or 4 games, and let's just fast forward to LA and New York in the finals, or LA and or Las Vegas and somebody in the finals. All these teams are getting better, and that's a great thing. But I always look at, I think if you're Minnesota or New York and you watch those teams lose the night before, I always feel like the second night you get a little bit more effort out of those teams to make sure they don't get put in that spot. So I don't think they're in any
New York
danger.
Thing, it's a lot different because it's in New York. Like, they're actually going home for theirs. Whereas the other teams, they lost a road game. Like, Seattle played home last night. With New York, I think New York should win, but Breanna Stewart beat hurt at the end of game 1. Could hurt. I really like that Mercury team. That game went in overtime. I think that Mercury roster is just as good as that Liberty roster.
I agree. And I think that I actually have Phoenix winning in game 2. And a lot of it is, I think, going to be due to the Breanna Stewart injury. She's expecting to play in game 2, but I don't see her, just with it being as up in the air as it is. Like, I don't see her or expect her to be anywhere close to 100% in that one. And on the flip side of it, like, Phoenix they have players who, to your point, Gene, can match up roster for roster. Like, Phoenix is right there with them. Like, you have AT, you have Kalia Copper, you have Duana Bonner coming off your bench. Like, you have players on your team. You have Seitu Sabali as well. Yeah, absolutely. So you have a ton of like great players on your team there. So I like Phoenix to take game 2, and I think game 3 is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
I'll say this: if Phoenix takes game 2, it'll be on the back of Kalia Copper. She has to have a great game. She has to slow down Sabrina Ionescu, and she has to do a great job of scoring with them. You can't just rely on AT. It cannot just be Alyssa Thomas. It's got to be on the back of Kalia Copper. All right. What's the third thing for our hot wire?
So last thing I have here, also wanted to shout out, since we're doing WNBA, Paige Buckets, Rookie of the Year. But last topic here for hot wire, college football. You've had 2 coaches fired already. We are only 3 weeks in, and you've had 2 coaches at Power 4 schools already fired. You've had Deshaun Foster at UCLA fired after a 5-10 record over the last year and 3 games. And then you've had Brent Pry fired at Virginia Tech, who's been 16-24 over the last 2 years, in 3 games here at Virginia Tech. He's been their head coach since 2022. just wanted to get your guys' immediate reactions to these firings, see if there was any name that just like, right out the gate kind of jumped out at you. And then the other portion of this that I wanted to just kind of briefly talk about here is that all of their players from both schools have a 30-day window to jump in the portal. And most notably, Nico Iamaleava is the quarterback at UCLA. We've been talking about his struggles on this show here and how awful it was the decision it was. Curious to know like what you think he should do now that he's kind of been given this out.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I mean, if you saw Foster's, we talk about it all the time and joke about it, but if you saw his introductory press conference, you probably had a good idea how this was going to go. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's ready to lead a Power 4, especially a team now in the Big Ten type of program. He just wasn't ready for it. Chip Kelly kind of left them hanging a little bit, and I get it. And it was kind of towards the end of the cycle, and they weren't going to really be able to go out and get a big name. And so, they brought a guy from within. I get all that, but again, it was too soon for him. Virginia Tech is a little interesting to me because I think, they got off to a slow start. They were a lot of people's sleepers in the ACC this year. But you're starting to see it now with all the money flying around that can be made in the college football playoff or making it to these championship games. These schools are not giving these guys leashes anymore. They're both they both want to get ahead of it and get out there and start. I'm sure they both have a list already of who they want to talk to and so forth and so on. So Nico, I don't know what Nico should do. Nico never should have left Tennessee, but that's gone and that's gone and forgotten. He's been terrible at UCLA. Some of that you could probably chalk up to play calling and everything else, but he's also just been awful. I'd be shocked if Nico doesn't hit the portal, knowing his camp and what he wants to do. I don't know where he lands because, again, I don't think –
How does that work, though? Does he have to give that money back? How does that work?
I would assume so.
I mean, he'd probably have to get some of it back, but
yeah,
with the coach being fired and all that, like I'm sure.
Well, I just don't think that. He still has to do certain things to earn it. So, if he decides to hit the portal, I'm pretty sure that just nullifies the NIL contract and
he ain't getting any NIL money anywhere else after the way he's been playing.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm telling you, somebody will give him a chance. I just don't know if it's going to be a major program per se. I don't. It's always hard to say because I don't know what'll be out there and who else is going to transfer come beginning of next year and what his options might be. Cottrell always makes the statement, and it's true. He's still too big of a name for somebody probably not to take a flyer on. But knowing him, he's also probably going to want a shit ton of money to show up on campus. And I think there's a lot of big schools that are going to be like, listen, you haven't played well enough to demand that. So, we'll pass. So I don't know. He's really he's going to have to learn how to be humble a little bit, I think, unless he decides to stay. UCLA has money. So, they're definitely not a poor school. If they go out and hire somebody that he likes, maybe he stays. So I don't know what ultimately he wants to do. The biggest thing he needs to do is start playing better football. The best thing, in my opinion, if I was in his camp, my opinion, I would tell him to stay, play the rest of the year, focus on getting better. And then at the end of the year, he has the portal to move out again if he wants to anyway. So you wait to see who they hire. If you don't like it and you play better, then you probably have more options. You can hit the portal and probably go somewhere else. I wouldn't do it now. Again, you're not going to go anywhere and play. So it's kind of a dumpster fire situation for him, but he's partly part of the reason why that they're in it. So I don't know. I would stay.
All right, let's move on to the NFL.
You have no opinion? What is this? What
I have
are
no
we
opinion.
doing?
I told you. I gave you my opinion. Nico is awful. I hate what he did with Tennessee. I'm happy to watch the dumpster fire that when he is, and I hope he doesn't get another cent.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna give my opinion here real quick because I know you're dying to get to NFL here. I see it.
Great line.
But ultimately for me, if I'm Nico, Bill, I think you make a great point about him getting the experience, things like that. I think it would be different if he didn't already have a year of experience under his belt. For me, I say you hit the portal now. I think right now, obviously he looks awful. And it looks even more worse how he exited Tennessee. But I think if you go out there and you put out 12 games of bad tape as opposed to just 3, you can chalk it up to, hey, this was the coach, this was the scheme. There's a reason why they got rid of everybody. You leave it at that. And then ultimately you tell all these coaches that, hey, that Tennessee situation humbled me. Like, I'm ready to go in. I'm ready to make a change. And I think that would give him the potential to go to still a big time school. I think if you stay at UCLA and you stink it up, you run the risk of being at like UAB next year or UTEP, like you saw Malachi Nelson ultimately end up at. I think on the flip side of that, though, if you look at schools like Penn State lost Bo Prabula, like he was supposed to be the next guy up. Drew Aller's obviously going to the NFL next year. LSU is going to be losing Nussmeier. And I'm not saying that Nico is going to just take that jump right away there, but I think there's going to be plenty of big-time QB openings at a lot of schools where he can throw his name in that hat there and be like, hey, look at how I looked my freshman year. Coach me. I've been humbled. Even if I'm not guaranteed a spot, I'll come in, I'll compete for it. I think that would give him a better opportunity than just stinking it up the joint for 12 games and staying at UCLA. 2
things real quick. CJ's comment, I don't disagree with you, but he was on the public, his people publicly came out and said that the supporting cast of Tennessee wasn't good enough. That's one of the reasons he left. So I don't want to hear that. Number 2, there's to be a cold day in hell before Nico ever plays football at Penn State. That is not their type. That is not their type of program. He is not their type of kid. It is not going to happen. LSU, sure, go down to that shit show with Brian Kelly. I'm all for that. That could work out. He is not going to Penn State. I will give James Franklin his flowers on this. James Franklin will not be in the Nico bidding process. I promise.
I was just saying they're big
time.
I understand.
I get it. I think you have to look from a coach's point of view, though. You could say it, but I would want to see it. You could any kid could sit down in front of a coach and lie through his teeth and be like, oh, I've been humbled. I've been this, I've been that. If I'm coach, I want to see it. If I'm going to hand the keys over to my program to you for the next 2 years and make you the guy, like, I want to see that you've been humbled. I want to see how you've changed. And if I can't see it, I'm not doing it. So if you go back 2 years, you could have argued nobody was in a better position than Nico to an up-and-coming Tennessee team with a great offensive mind and Josh Heupel and a bunch of 5-star kids that have come in this year, mind you, and kicked ass, and they weren't going to be good enough for Nico, and Nico left. That if that doesn't humble you, and if you can't show it and play better, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's a big risk for anybody. If you're at a preeminent top 20 school and you're going to take a chance on him, I think it's a big chance. I think it's a really big chance to put your faith in him for 2 years.
I wouldn't put any faith in that kid. None. Put him on the South Carolina route with Spencer Rattler.
I mean, Spencer's kind of the one guy, like, if you're going to be honest, that like actually took his medicine and, it was like, what?
That was the point of what I said.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. I thought you
go to like a route like that. And
fair enough. I misunderstood what you were saying. I got you.
Can we move now?
Ready to move.
Just go to NFL, G.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Tagging somebody in the chat.
Uh-oh. That means we're up for a monologue from Gene. Uh-oh. Tony Gladstone, you're about to get it, brother.
Who
is he a fan of?
Kansas City Chiefs.
I figured. All right, here we go.
I am, over the last year and a half, I can count on one hand how many Chiefs fans have basically been like, yeah, we lost football games because we lost the game and there's no other reason. I look back at that game versus look back at every game that Kansas City Chiefs have lost. There's been a reason, right? But I can count on 2 hands, 2 toes, like everything about how many times I've heard other teams losing football games to the Kansas City Chiefs because of officiating, right? Like the Will Anderson personal foul on Patrick Mahomes, or the defensive PI last year with Cincinnati, or the non-call in Atlanta, or I'm telling you, it's all every year, or the non-first down for Buffalo. Every year,
PI
if there's a
versus
sleight
Eagles.
of the hand, the Kansas City Chiefs get the nudge. They get the nudge all the time. Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, they get it. Go back to the Cleveland Browns. Even though I didn't agree with it, the nose dive into the Browns guy going into the end zone. That was a personal foul. They got that call. They get every call. I watched that football game. Philadelphia Eagles went into their house and bullied them defensively. It was 20-10. That game, and we're talking about push first downs. That has been the talk Monday, Tuesday. Not the Chiefs being 0-2. Push first downs. Well, the Eagles are jumping off sides. I got news for you. Every single push, there is a member of the defensive team lined up in the neutral zone. Every single one. Go watch them. By the way, I watched the All-22 that you asked me to watch, Cottrell. Cooper DeJean played out of his friggin' mind. I love the way Cooper DeJean played in that football game.
That was why I asked you to do so. And then he blew one coverage. It might have been the touchdown, the long touchdown. He blew that coverage. And I was like, Cooper's been playing phenomenal this game, but he blew this play here. But so that was really why I wanted to do this.
The one quick
Kid's a gamer, man. Kid is a gamer.
He was incredible. That's not for here nor there. The problem I have is on Monday and Tuesday, all I heard was how Adam Schefter, this game wasn't lost on Sunday. It was lost in March. I'm sorry. Are the Chiefs or other football teams not allowed to run that play? Is it like illegal for anyone else to run the play? Help me understand. Now, Kishore, I know you're going to get in with your whole, I don't like the tush push. I don't care if you don't like the tush push. I don't care if you don't like the way the play looks. I don't care if you think it's a rugby play. I don't care if you think it's 98% accuracy. I got a stat for you. Tom Brady in his career had 137 quarterback sneaks. Do you know how many he converted?
No clue.
133. It's a 98% completion percentage. 97.5.
Okay.
That's the same. The tush push is converting at 93%. So are we going to ban Tom Brady quarterback sneaks because he's good at it? It drives me out of my mind how they can cheat and jump off sides and be on the other side of the neutral zone. But when you catch the Eagles jumping, because they did, and by the way, Jordan Mailata said this last night. Other teams, 3 teams, he mentioned. The Chiefs were one of them. The Rams and the Green Bay Packers are mimicking the snap count on the tush push, which is illegal. You're not allowed to mimic the snap count as a defensive player. The Eagles have alerted the officials, and yet they do not call it. The Eagles do not get the benefit of that on 90% of tush-push penalties. They look for the spot is always short because the referees understand it's a tough play to defend. Like the touchdown. Like he had the 100%. He had the touchdown. The Eagles even reviewed. They're like, let's just pull it back a little bit. I'm tired of it. The Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt of one of the worst roughing the passer calls I've ever seen. The guy did this. The Patrick Mahomes face mask. This. Barely grazed it. 15 yards. Can't touch the golden boy. That can't happen. You see that type of contact on every play in the NFL. It is annoying. I'm tired of hearing Chiefs fans cry. All I need you to do is say Gene was right. You remember when I said you're going to start 0-2 and you'll be 1-3 after week 4. And I was called an idiot. I was called a moron. And now it's excuses. I told you were going to be 1-3. I told you you're going to start 0-2. And I'm telling you now, you're not winning the goddamn division. That is the Chargers division to win this year. Point blank, period. You're going to be a 9-8, 10-7 wild card team. Book it. I'm done.
I'm gonna let you go because I don't disagree with anything you said. So,
look, my biggest thing is, and it's a great point. Like you made a lot of great points. Like Chiefs fans, if this was a game not against the Chiefs, I mean, I could care less. Chiefs losing, that's good to me. Like I could care less. Like I don't need to see the Chiefs win football games. Like, and I definitely don't need to hear them complaining about refereeing. So all of that, I am with you on. As far as the actual tush push itself, so you're telling me that the Chiefs line up in the neutral zone.
Yes.
The Chiefs mimic the snap count. The Eagles are false starting. The Eagles are also lined up past the line of scrimmage as well, because that's also a point of contention there
100%.
with the tush push. And nothing is being called. So you're having 4 illegal things happen on the same play. And it got ran 6 times in the football game and nothing got called 1 time. That's my problem with the tush push. If we're not going to officiate it, we're just going to go out and just say, hey, we're going to let them do whatever they do. And this is both ways. This isn't just an Eagles thing. It's not just the Chiefs thing. If we're going to just go out and let these guys do whatever the hell they want to do anyway, what is the point of having the play be legal? Like, what's the point of even having the arguments about what's going on one side and what's not going on the other side? Like, I just want it. If we're going to keep it, fine. If it doesn't pass the votes, whatever the case may be, cool. I'm good with that. Police the play how it should be policed on both sides. I don't need to see an illegal thing happening every single time it gets ran on both sides. Like that's just should not be what the game is about, though. For sure. Absolutely. It's the official's job. But if you're like literally during the game, they had Brandino, was he the one, the ref in the box? Yeah. He was in the box talking about like, yeah, no, I'm tired of it. Like I'm tired of it. Like we're not officiating it. That's a former ref. Like clearly all the refs are on the same page with everything. Yeah. Like we're just not going to police it how it's supposed to because it's hard. Like that is awful lot. The NFL's got to fix that. Like if we're going to keep it, that needs to be fixed. And that's been my biggest gripe with it. I don't like the play. I do think it is a rugby style play, but the biggest issue is that we're not policing it how it should be. If the Eagles are just saying, hey, this is how it's ran, like this is the legal way to run it, we're running it at a better clip than everybody else, and no one has an answer to stop it, so be it. Like hands up, nothing to see here. Like I'm all for that. But the false starts, lining up in the neutral zone. The flip side, if you're talking about, people having the cadences. We saw last year in the NFC Championship game, Louisville was jumping over, trying to time it up, and it just kept happening over and over and over again. Like these are things that the officials need to clean up if we're going to keep this a part of the league.
But the logic of not keeping it as part of the league does not make sense. I hear what you're saying. I think it needs to be policed properly. But when they're mimicking the snap counts, of course, the guards are jumping off sides. So the officials are just being like, screw it. They're mimicking the snap counts. The guards are jumping off sides. And that's the problem of the league. The league has to make that dictation. The play is very tough to stop. It's almost impossible to stop. When you have an offensive line with an all-pro left guard, a Pro Bowl center, and a quarterback that can bench press or deadlift 500 pounds, it's tough to stop. But if it was an impossible play to stop, more teams would run it. They don't run it because they do not have our personnel. That's their fault, not ours. And by the way, just to be clear, if I was a team defending the tush push and it was on the goal line, I would do exactly what Frankie Louvu did. I would dive head first over the line and nose dive into the quarterback's head. I would, even at 15 yards. What are you going to give me, half the distance to the goal? I would 100% do that. You want to run it? I'm going to hit him every time. That's not the point. Not the point. Would it be fair to let the defense push? I mean, leverage. It's the definition of leverage. I assume most plays, stuff like that happens with defensive linemen trying to get linemen to jump off sides. Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. I agree, Kyle. Defense can't even push back. The problem is this. Are you going to stop them from every scrum? So if you take that play out of the game, are you stopping every running back that hits the hole and they're pushing at the pile? That's fine. If that's what we're going to do, then okay. Don't change it just because of one play. Change the rule of pushing back and forth, because you have no problem when Ramondre Stevenson's fat ass is at the 3-yard line and the offensive line of the Patriots is pushing him in the end zone. No one bats a word. Nothing.
Stevenson catches strays, bro. Damn, God, damn. Not an ass, a fat ass. Jesus Christ.
I can say it. Fat, he's in great shape. I'm kidding.
Damn. He had nothing to do with this.
I just needed to make that very well. I just need to make that very clear.
I think the funniest thing is there's been a lot of Chiefs fans that have come out of the woodwork the last couple of years, obviously with this run and whatever, so be it. But I have yet to see one on social media or even the people like I'm friends with to just put any blame on Travis Kelce. Like none. Like it's the biggest reason you lost the game. If he catches that ball, probably scores. But regardless, even if we tackle them again, they probably score. The interception just completely changed the game.
100%.
And there's not nobody can point the finger at Travis at all.
I think what a lot of people miss on that play is that Jalen Carter tipped that ball. They tipped it luckily directly into the right spot, but Jalen Carter tipped that pass. That's wild.
Watching that game is what is frustrating about Jalen Carter. I mean, like, you see anybody that knows football, it was easy, clear as day to see how much he was missed in week 1, and then just how much of a wrecking ball he was Sunday. Yeah. Pressures, like you said, tip balls, tackles for loss. Like, the kid's a stud. He's just got to get his head just screwed on straight, man. He's got to grow up.
The Eagles defense
he's so good.
Really good this year.
Jordan Davis starting to play a little bit too, so it's going to get interesting.
I need Kevin Patullo to call a couple pass plays down the field. That's starting to get under my skin, but
that I was going to say, definitely want the pass plays to start happening, but you're winning, so you kind of just let it rock. But I think the flip side of it is
AJ's fuse is getting short though.
You guys having a cornerback 2 by committee has been funny to watch. Like, I've never seen this be the case. You're just like throwing guys out there like, oh, Jacorian Bennett, like, let's see if you can do it. Adoree, all right, you got this drive. Oh, you had a penalty. All right, we're snatching you out of here. Like, you guys are just throwing guys out there at the quarterback 2 position to just kind of figure out what is ultimately going to stick there. And I think that's the right move for now. But I think that's the one weak spot, and everybody is trying to exploit it.
Do not be surprised if the Philadelphia Eagles sign a old cornerback off the trash heap, or make a trade for a scrummed cornerback on a team where their quarterback goes down and they're out of it. You watch, it'll happen.
I've already said, I set this on the side to some of my friends. I was like, the Eagles are going to find a way to get L'Jarius. No, not Denzel Ward. You guys are going to get L'Jarius Sneed from Tennessee, like, out of nowhere. He's got a big time deal. They're going to rework some money around. Like, L'Jarius Sneed was a Pro Bowl caliber corner with the Chiefs. He goes to Tennessee. He gets paid. The Eagles are going to just fight him with, hey, you know what? We'll give you a 4th or a 5th for him. Send him our way. We'll call it even. Like, I can already see it happening.
It's a Howie special.
Any other listen, I don't want to breeze over. It's Wednesday. We do a really light job of breaking down the previous games because tomorrow night there's more games. But the one thing I wanted to bring up in the NFL before, and we'll do our pick 'em and things like that, a little bit of a preview after trivia. But the one thing I kind of want to ask you guys about is a lot of quarterbacks went down in week 2.
Yes, they did.
A lot of quarterbacks went down in week 2. We're going to get starts this week from Tyrod Taylor, Carson Wentz, that bum over there in Cincinnati,
Jake Browning, potentially Mariota,
Marcus Mariota. The retreads are coming. Man, Joe Burrow.
Wow.
Joe Burrow. I'll give you credit. You called him injury prone a while ago. I guess I got to call him injury prone at this point.
I mean, they're all freak injuries, but like it is what it is. Like some people just get bit by it, and he's been getting bit by it since college. Like the Joe Burrow getting hurt is the reason ultimately why he had to go to LSU. Like he was in a quarterback battle with Dwayne Haskins. He got hurt in college, and they gave Dwayne the job, and he just never looked back. And now you're seeing in the NFL, it's kind of just carried over. And I don't think it's not because of the way he trains or, anything like that. He's just found himself in a position where he's just always hurt. And the Cincinnati offensive line, of course, isn't doing him any favors.
None. He needs to get out of Cincinnati. That's another Andrew Luck situation waiting to happen.
For sure.
He's going to be the Mike Trout of football. What he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
he's out of Cincinnati.
It'll be real interesting if he decides to.
It'd be the same thing. He's gonna be loyal to that franchise. They're never gonna get him a line, and that he'll keep getting stupid things like this. Just keep piling on, rather than going in there and be like, "You don't upgrade this offensive line, freaking trade me."
Any other week 2 takeaways from last week's games that you guys wanted to talk about? Daniel Jones, 2-0, 29-28 over Broncos.
Indiana Jones.
They have not punted this year.
It's funny because they're 2-0. If you watch, they should be 1-1. Like literally, the Broncos shot themselves in the foot. They missed a 60-yarder, and you just give them extra opportunity. You weren't going to block the kick. Like I don't know what the game plan was there with that. They got called for leveraging with that. Absolutely
jumped over the line
wild,
on a 60-yard field goal. What a moron.
Like, what are we doing? It's not like if they had Aubrey, like I get it. If they had, Tucker Boswell, like one of those guys, sure, I get it. But I mean, inside
though, man, when it's warm, there's half the league can hit a 60-yarder now. It's crazy.
You say
it's
that,
not,
but
it's not like I get what you're saying, but it's not even like it was 5-6 years ago where like a 6 in front of it. And like you said, you're like, all right, there's maybe 3 guys I trust to hit this. It's not like that anymore. Like especially inside. Like these kickers, man, that's just it's not like forbidden territory anymore. I'm not saying they're all going to make them, but again, to like just trot a guy out there for a 60-yarder, like most coaches, it's just made in the blink of an eye now. They're like, screw it. Like you can hit it in warm-ups, we'll try and see what happens. Like
I'm saying, if you watch the kick, though, kick had absolutely no shot. You play your percentages there every single time.
Yeah. I thought that was stupid. But give Indiana Jones his credit. He's played really well. I will be talking about him in a little bit when we get to our pick'em segment. But
imagine if like Indianapolis didn't waste a draft pick on Anthony Richardson and took somebody else. Like where they would be right now.
Shane Steichen's a good coach. I've said it all along.
He is, but I mean, you read between the lines. Shane Steichen did not want Anthony Richardson. He can't come out and blast anybody or say it, but like you read certain interviews and certain things he says, he did not want to draft Anthony Richardson.
Jeez.
That was a Ursay special.
Seeing the guys in that class, especially that early, like
yes,
guys that went somewhere right after him. You had Witherspoon was still there, Paris Johnson, Jalen Carter, obviously. Like, I mean, all 3 of those guys would have been in play there if you don't go quarterback. My goodness.
How he went 9th is beyond me. How did he go 9th?
Well, I mean, he killed somebody.
We know how.
I mean,
he killed somebody. Oh,
I mean, just call it like it is. Yeah, accessory to death.
All right, let's move. We got trivia. I am the trivia host today.
Nobody, Kyle. That was the whole point.
I said it was
Anthony Richardson was never a first-round draft pick. That's
the most blatant honestly, he might be the most obvious bust in like modern NFL history. Because I mean, we said it at the time that it was happening. Like without a doubt, we said it like bona fide, like stamp it. This guy will be a bust.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, at best case, he was a project. Like he was no way like first round draft pick, day one starter for your team next year. He was never that ever. These guys fall in love with combine stuff, man. I mean, you go back to Zach and all that. I'm like, cool. No pads, no helmet. He threw the ball 70 yards. I don't care. It's not what he's going to do in the NFL. Like it's silly.
I have a banger of a trivia question to.
Oh.
Now, I did one I thought would be very easy because I want you guys to, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I want to continue moving. I think this should go quick.
I feel like every time I say
that, what'd you say?
I said, I feel like every time we say that, it doesn't happen that way.
Shall we? I'm giving both you guys a 15-second timer to start. We're not taking time on this. This is easy. They're all big names. I think that you guys should knock this out rather quickly. The most rushing touchdowns since 2000. Maybe I should edit that. That should say since 2000, not 2000s. The most rushing touchdowns since 2000.
Am I first?
Start, Chow.
LaDainian Thompson.
Number 1. Timer's on, Petrell.
Adrian Peterson.
Number 2. See, we get really easy to start.
Since 2000.
10 seconds.
Why am I going blank here? I'll go with Saquon.
Incorrect. Strike 1.
I'm going to go with Frank Gore.
Frank Gore's number 6. Timer's back on.
It's been around for a while. Alvin Kamara.
Nope.
Damn.
I'm going to go. I like the lane that I'm in right now. I'm going to go with Curtis Martin.
Nope.
Let's go with Derrick Henry.
Number 3.
Henry's obviously a great one. I'm going to go with he got retired then. Coats. Go Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson's on the list.
I will go with. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'll go with Marshawn Lynch.
Number 5. 3-2.
It's a great one. I will go. Let's go across the league here. I'm trying to run through these here.
10 seconds.
Rams. I will go with Le'Veon Bell.
Nope.
Oh, that's a good one. No?
Nope.
Do we know? Can you tell us what the numbers are?
No.
What?
I don't have them in front of me. I'm right now, though. You're stalling.
Shady McCoy.
No. Really close. I'll tell you this. He's number 11.
Oh.
That's 73.
He was 73 at 11?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go with.
Ooh, I got one.
I'm going to go with Sean Alexander.
Number 4, 3-3.
You know what's funny? I didn't know if he would be on there or not. I just knew he had like 30 the one year.
He did. Charlie, you had one.
He's got to be close. He's played for a while. I'll go Maurice Jones-Drew.
Nope.
Damn it.
3-3.
I'll go the other way. I'll go Fred Taylor.
Damn it.
Nope. I like the quickness, though. MJD was 13, by the way. I have a backup question, so I don't care if it ties.
We're at 3-3.
Yep.
Todd Gurley.
Nope.
Oh,
4 left. You guys got 7, 8, 9, and 10.
No figures.
8 is really tough.
what?
8 is really tough. That's all I'll say.
I'm gonna go with who was a. I'll go with Larry Johnson.
Nope.
Damn. Ugh. I hope this is wrong, but it might be right. I'll go with Zeke.
Number 10.
Ugh.
1 ahead of Shady McCoy. 74.
Asshole.
4-3.
That's insane.
I hope you guys tie because the tiebreaker question is super fun.
I'm gonna go with. I got another one in mind. I'm gonna go with Arian Foster.
Nope.
Oh, that's a good one. Gene said what he said, and now I'm between two people.
Seven,
If I
eight,
get it-
9.
If I get it wrong, Cottrell's going to get it right. I don't know.
Oh, I got one.
Fuck. I don't know. Shit. Damn it.
Control.
I'm gonna go with Christian McCaffrey.
Nope. I think he might be on the list if it was total touchdowns.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Christ. One of the Denver guys has got to be on the list. I'll go Portis.
Clinton Portis, number 9. 5-3. 2 left.
Boy.
Need both of them, Control.
He's number 9. I don't think he's got 73 yet, but Michael Vick.
Nope.
Oh, Christ. It's not Vic.
No.
I'm going the other. Bro, I'm sorry that you said this. Because when he said it, I thought of two people, and he was one of them. And that's why I didn't say it, because if I got it wrong, I felt like I knew who the other one was. I'm going to go with Cam.
Number 8.
Sorry, Cam Newton. Yeah, that was the other one who I was between.
That's literally why I didn't say it, because I was like, if I say one and it's wrong, Cottrell's definitely going to get the other one. That's why I was like,
I am actually very annoyed at the Larry Johnson pick.
Why?
Because Larry Johnson was the poor man's Priest Holmes, who was number 7.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm very mad at that pick. By the way, I have a backup question. Can I just do for fun? It's not a real long question. So here was my tiebreaker. I just want to do it because I wanted you guys to tie, but let's just do it anyway, right?
Or do you want to keep it?
No, it's not something I can use for trivia.
Okay.
You have a 5-second shot clock. You go back and forth until somebody runs out on the shot clock. You cannot get one wrong. If you get one wrong, you're eliminated. You should take less than a minute. Is that fair? There's only 10.
Okay.
There are 10 teams in all major sports that their names do not end in an S. You have 5 seconds to complete the puzzle.
Name Fighting Irish.
No. Professional sports.
Professional sports.
Yeah, I'll let you go on that one. 10 teams in professional sports that their team names does not end in an S. 5 seconds, Shal.
Oh, no. Professional. I know this is all the other way around. Bleh.
That's it. Control, give me one.
Red Sox.
Red Sox. White Sox. Let's go back and forth. Me and you. I know.
Instead of Red Sox, White Sox. There's another. I think there's another baseball one.
Hockey has 3. Basketball has 4. I'm kind of.
Sheesh, Thunder.
Lightning.
Makes sense.
Well, you know the answers.
I'm going to go back and forth with them.
It's like not even out of his mouth. Lightning.
Well, first of all, I knew 8 of them right away, and it took me a second to get 9 and 10. The Magic. The Heat. The Jazz. The Avalanche. The Kraken.
Hockey's got a lot.
Yeah. All right, let's move. NFL preview. Only going to do 2-0 games just because it's still very early in the season. So 2-0 versus 2-0 is all we'll do. Is that fair? It's a lot.
Yeah.
2-0 versus 2-0. Let's start with the Eagles versus the Rams. 2-0 versus 2-0. It's the one of 2 2-0 matchups this week. The other one's actually crazy. The Wild was another one. So Eagles Rams, 1:00 Sunday kick, which by the way, I'm thrilled about. Everyone thinks that the Rams, I love this. Everyone thinks that the Rams were so close to beating the Philadelphia Eagles. And if it wasn't played in snow, then the Rams would have won the game. I actually think the snow is more of a detriment to the Philadelphia Eagles than it was to the Los Angeles Rams. I truly believe the Philadelphia Eagles are a bad cold weather team. I'm telling you that. I've said it before. I've said it again. The Eagles play on carpet better than they play in bad weather. And that's been proven year after year. And Gio says, my Rams are winning. I would like to ask you, the last 2 times this Eagles team went into LA, what the result was. Now, the game's in Philadelphia, and it's going to be beautiful weather. And I think Saquon Barkley has a day, but I think Jalen Hurts has a bigger day. A.J. Brown, if he's on your fantasy team, put him in your starting lineup. I'm going Philadelphia Eagles with an offensive explosion and a 37-27 win over the Rams. Go way over the total. Cottrell.
Yeah, I don't know if I see that happening. I think this is one of those games where I feel like it's definitely going to be a tight game. I think the Eagles have, obviously, the week 1, it's against your rival, but I think they kind of played down to the level of competition there. I know Dallas always plays you guys tough. But as a whole there, I think in the Chiefs game, I thought you guys were the better football team. And again, I thought that game was a lot closer than I was honestly expecting it to be.
Not me. Kevin Betul has been terrible.
What'd you say?
I said not me. Kevin Betul has been terrible. I told you the Eagles were going to have adjustment problems with their offense. And by the way, you saying our secondary is going to get exposed, you're out of your damn mind, Gio. There's one guy in that secondary I have questions about, and it's the rotational wheel at cornerback 2.
Yeah, but I mean, I think when you have Puka and Devontae on the opposite side, you kind of pick, whoever is going to be over there. Ultimately, though, I think this is going to be one of those 24-21, 24-20 kind of ball games. Eagles at home. I'll take the Eagles. I think the Rams are also going to need to stop. Eagles, similar to what we saw last week. They're going to get the first down when they need to. It doesn't necessarily have to be tush-push, but when you got Saquon Barkley as your bell cow, when you have Jalen Hurts in the short yardage situations, I think the Eagles are going to be able to play keep away and not give the Rams the opportunity to go win the game. So I'll go Eagles. I like them to cover, but I actually like the under.
Shall
I'm going Eagles 25 and a half. I'm going Eagles 27, Rams 21. I think it's a good game. I think it'll be a close game. I agree with Gene. I think the Rams have matchups that favor them. I don't think they're the ones that are going to make you win a football game, though. I think Saquon has another big day. He's been close. He's kind of broken medium runs in every game. I think he's been close to breaking a couple big ones. I think he breaks one Saturday. And I do agree. I think they have to open up the offense a little bit on Saturday. They got to start throwing the ball. They really haven't thrown it down the field, and when they have, it's really not been they really haven't used AJ at all. They've gone medium to intermediate with Devonta a couple times, but they got to start throwing the ball and getting people off the line of scrimmage. So, I think it'll be a very good football game. The Rams aren't 2-0 by accident. I think they're a good football team. A lot of people have picked them to win the division. I think they're a playoff team. I think it'll be a very interesting game. But again, I think the line plays better on Sunday, and again, I think Saquon goes big, and I also think AJ. I think they finally get on track with AJ and Jalen as well. So I like the Eagles to win.
The Rams' defensive philosophy is a hybrid system derived from Vic Fangio. They run a 5-1 and a 5-2. If anybody knows how to beat the Vic Fangio system, it's Vic Fangio. I think the defensive coordinator sits in the offensive meetings and breaks down a couple big plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, other 2-0 versus 2-0 matchup.
Which
I
is
didn't look at this
insane that
before
we're
I
talking
talked
about this.
What?
I said, which is insane that we're about to talk about this game.
The San Francisco 49ers and Mac Jones taking on Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. But by the way, just to be clear, there aren't a lot of really good matchups this week, if we're being honest. The game of the week, the Sunday night game is Chiefs-Giants, 2-0-2 teams. Monday Night Football's best game of the week. It's Lions-Ravens. We'll talk about that too. But Cardinals-49ers, who do you like in that football game? I like the 49ers. I think that the Kyler Murray-led Arizona Cardinals have escaped by the skin of their teeth back-to-back weeks. I think in this football game, Robert Saleh's defense lays the smack down on that Arizona Cardinals offense. Give me the Niners.
I will give you your credit. That defensive unit has looked completely different this year now that Saleh's back. I think Mac Jones is serviceable enough, obviously, with everybody else to play and eke out a win like they did last week. Only thing I'll give you a little pushback on, I think Arizona's played okay. I think they're at least it's kind of like where they were at the end of last year. I feel like they're finally at least trending in the right direction.
They played okay?
Yeah.
They looked good until the fourth against Carolina.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. The fourth quarter, I thought that Kyler Murray threw one of the most indefensible interceptions I've ever seen.
That's a
fact.
Kyler
does. But I think San Francisco struggles when they go there too. I'm going to go with San Francisco because I think they'll be able to control the ball, and I think Mac is again, he's one of those rare situations where you have a backup that has a lot of starting experience. I don't think it's going to be the situation going to be too big for him again. I think C-Mac will have a decent game as long as he plays. I'll go San Francisco in a weird low-scoring game, kind of like they played last week, like 20-13, something like that.
It's in San Fran too. By the way.
I'm rolling with
even better.
I'm rolling with Arizona in this one. I think given you guys give credit to San Francisco's defense, and as a whole, they definitely look better. I saw Spencer Rattler have some moments in the game against that 49ers defense, and I thought supporting cast kind of let him down in that one. I think Kyler and company will be able to take advantage of those plays there. And as long as Kyler doesn't give you 2 turnovers in that game, I think Arizona will have enough to take care of business. So I like Arizona to win a lower scoring game there as well. But, I'm going on the opposite side of you guys there.
Lions versus Ravens Monday Night Football. I do want to talk about this. I think it's a very high-profile game. Cottrell, who do you like Lions at Ravens Monday Night Football?
So I like the Ravens. I think that the the Lions obviously looked much better week 2. I think they had something to prove, and they went out there and they absolutely proved everything they wanted to in that football game. But as a whole, though, I mean, I think the Ravens are a better football team, and I think with that Ravens bunch there, they're going to be able to get after the quarterback, get Jared Goff off of his spots there, and really make him uncomfortable there. And so I think the Ravens take care of business, and they continue to keep it rolling. Ravens have scored 40 in both of their games so far this season. I don't see the Lions really slowing that pace down there for them too much.
Charlie?
I'm going Baltimore as well. I think they regroup, get home. I think Derrick Henry is a big game. I think Detroit looked great last week, but I think they were at home, and I also think Chicago looked terrible. And I think it's a good combination of both. I don't think they're going to go into Baltimore and score 50. I agree with Quattrell said. I think that defense will tighten up a little bit. I think they'll get to Goff at least enough to hit him and rattle him a little bit. I don't think they're going to be able to rely on the run as much. I just like the matchups in Baltimore's favor in that game, especially being home. I think Baltimore after this game is going to look at it. We should be 3-0 or 2-1, but I think they get it done at home. I think it's a good game. I think it's close. I don't think Detroit gets blown out by any means, but I'm not super buying into the 50 they put up on Chicago. And we all know what Baltimore is. They're going to play good defense. They're going to run the ball. I think they will. I think you see a really good performance out of Baltimore. I like Baltimore 31-26 over Detroit.
Just 2 short years ago, the 4-2 Baltimore Ravens played the 5-1 Detroit Lions in Baltimore.
They beat the dog shit out of them.
And the Baltimore Ravens beat the ever-living shit out of the Detroit Lions with Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and a much better Lions team then than they are now. I love the Ravens on Monday Night Football. I think the Ravens run over the Detroit Lions. By the way, it's crazy. The Lions are going to go 15-2 after week 1. The Lions are going to go 7-10 after week 2. The Lions are going to go 11-6. Guys, relax. They're going to be 9-8. It's going to be right in the middle of your little relaxed party. I like the Ravens in this one. Let's move to NFL Pick'em. Shout. What are we doing?
Bad week, bro.
I'm kidding, bro. It happened to be college football.
I'm not. It's a bad week.
I'm fired up. We got to change it. NFL Genius is back.
I got you next week.
I appreciate that. Well, don't change it. If I go 3-0 this week, leave it Wire2Wire G. We're not playing that game. I don't want. Or if I go 0-3, so only if I go 2-1, change it. That's it.
Okay, fair enough.
Because you know what I mean. If I go 0-3, it's gonna look really bad.
It's like god damn it.
Cottrell, Shally could be the meat and the potatoes, and I'll be the icing on the cake.
Meat.
All right. So first game I got here. I'm going to go with the division game. I got the Houston Texans going on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the Texans plus 1.5, pick up their first win on the season. I think the Texans are hungry for a win. They start off 0-3. I mean, we know the history of teams that start off 0-3 and their potential to make the playoffs. I think the AFC South is still very much up for grabs, even with the Colts being 2-0. I think the Texans view this as a must win. They go down to Jacksonville. Not only they cover the 1.5, they get the win there. So I like Texans plus 1.5. Second game, I like the under 44.5 Steelers at Pats. You're telling me the Steelers bunch that just went up against the Seattle Seahawks, they only scored 17 points. Now they got to go to Gillette and face this New England Patriots team that has a pretty solid defense there. And that game's supposed to go over 44.5. I'm not really buying it. I don't think the Pats offense is that good either. I think the Steelers will have a easy time keeping them at bay there as well. So I think the under 44.5 there is pretty solid pick there. And then the last one I like here, I went against them last week and they gave me an L. I'm going to go against them again this week, though. I like the Chiefs minus 5.5 at the Giants. Ultimately, the Chiefs in the same position as the Texans. They need to pick up a win this week. I think the Giants played above their head last week, and I don't see that being the case again against this Spags defense. So I like the Chiefs to cover 5.5 on the road against the Giants, especially with Xavier Worthy returning to that lineup.
Charlie.
All right, I'm going to start. I'm going to take Dallas plus 1.5 on the road at Chicago. Chicago's been in dumpster fire so far. Don't have a ton of faith, in Dallas, but Dallas's offense is going to move the ball against Chicago. And I think Dallas will get enough stops. They'll get a turnover, probably at least one turnover from Caleb or company. On the road, I think it's a good spot for them to win. Chicago is just not off to the start they thought they were. You look at the body language of some of the guys on the team. I just don't think there's a lot of good things going on behind the scenes in Chicago right now. Give me Dallas plus 1.5. Secondly, LA Chargers minus 2.5 at home against the Broncos. Going to give Gino a little bit of credit here. I don't think Denver's that good. You got Bo Nix and Sean Payton already screaming at each other on the sideline after week 2. Chargers will look great at home, control the ball, run it, score, get enough stops on defense. I think the Chargers take care of business. And I'm going to take Minnesota minus 3 in the backup bowl against Cincinnati. Carson Wentz throws for 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, but it's enough to beat the Bengals and Jake Browning. I think Brian Flores will get enough turnovers out of that Minnesota defense against Jake Browning. I think they cover at home and probably what's a not very crisp or anything but sloppy football game in Minnesota.
I have some fun ones. I went with it over under last week and it hit. I got another one for you. And I know listen, I'll be honest with you. I have some chalky picks this week. College in particular. I hate taking points or giving points. I hate laying them. I think good bettors find the value on the dogs or the unders. I am not doing that this week, so I apologize. Here's where I'll start. Thursday night football. I got this one early, by the way, and you guys can correct me if I need to give the full point back, I'll give it back, but I got this one early. I like the over 49.5 Dolphins versus Bills. It's already up to 50.5. If you want to hold me to 50.5, you can hold me to it. I love this over, right? The Buffalo Bills are going to score 35. We know that. Matt Milano and Ed Oliver aren't playing for the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be an up and down. It's going to be 70 degrees in Orchard Park. You're not going to have to worry about any weather. This game is going to clear the over. Expect 70. Love the over. Dolphins versus Bills. Second one on the docket. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 1.5. I am not a believer. The Miami Dolphins, our defense has been atrocious. The only defense has been worse than them through 2 weeks is the Chicago Bears. I like the Steelers minus 1.5. Aaron Rodgers. I'm not a Drake May guy. Maybe I will be after this week. Give me the Steel Curtain minus 1.5 with no receivers to threaten that old secondary. And then last but not least, here's a good one for you. This isn't chalky at all. I saved it for last. I love. I'm going to look like an asshole if this doesn't hit. But I love the Tennessee Titans plus 4.5 at home versus the Indianapolis Colts. I don't believe in it. Get those guys out of Indianapolis, get them in Tennessee, and that defense is going to be rocking. Give me the Titans plus 4.5 and sprinkle a little on the money line. That's my picks this week.
Yeah, I mean, this is very much smelling like a New Orleans Saints offense from last year. Like, I remember the Saints, were firing on all cylinders to start the year. Like, they hadn't really punted, and they were scoring 40 a game. And then week 3 hit, and we never heard from that Saints team ever again.
I'm loving it this year. Loving it. All right. Let's get into some college football. Mr. College Cottrell, where are we starting?
So real quick, I know we don't go too in depth here with the recaps, just because again we have so many games that we're going to be going over here. But I did just want to bring up a couple here real quick. One being the Georgia-Tennessee game, the absolute barn burner that it was. Austin going to OT and Georgia.
Did Josh Heupel ice his own kicker? I really want to know that. Do you think he iced his own kicker? Like, not intentionally, but that was a long 2.5 minutes of real time.
It was. It
It's a
definitely
long
was.
time to make a kid think about a kick, man.
I was gonna say, and you can definitely tell that he was thinking about it. Like you could see it in his eyeballs. Like the camera kept panning over to him. It was just like he was like, "Am I really in this moment? Like, is this really all on my shoulders here?" And then he goes out, kicks it, and obviously we saw what happened there. But just wanted to get your guys' quick reactions to that game, and then I wanted to go over to the other game that ultimately went right down, to the wire there as well.
I was right and I was wrong. That's my reaction to that game. I'll be quick about it. I was right. I was right about my guy, Aguilar. Joey Aguilar was very good in that football game. 371 yards versus that Georgia defense, 4 touchdowns. Yes, he had 2 picks. One wasn't his fault. I was wrong. Gunnar Stockton's got some balls to him. 23 of 31, 304, 2 touchdowns. Gunnar Stockton and coming back multiple times, particularly the 38-30 touchdown, then the 2-point conversion. You gotta give credit where credit's due. Gunnar Stockton proved me wrong. Great football game, though.
Kind of got to piggyback on that one. Kind of the reverse, though. Joey definitely balled out. Didn't think I was going to quite get that from Joey. And I thought Gunnar would be okay in the moment. So hate to see it end the way it did. I mean, that kid probably ran about a million scenarios through his head about making the kick, missing the kick. Give him a lot of credit. Stood up there in front of the press at the end and took all the questions. Love to see that from a young kid, especially a kicker. But it was a great game. Again, I think it's crazy to say I think Tennessee is more of a national title contender this year than they were last year with Nico. Just to get back to that whole thing, I think Joey is a little bit grittier, more of a gamer. And you can see the guys, just hate to say it, I mean, it's proofs in the pudding kind of thing. You see everybody in that huddle react to Joey Aguilar in a positive way. And that's never a bad thing to see out of your quarterback. And again, I thought Georgia did what I thought Georgia would do. Georgia looked way better than they did the first couple weeks. Definitely flipped the switch there. Kirby had them ready. Great football game. To get that type of game, in week 3 in the SEC is just, kind of what we're accustomed to. But I think you have to say both teams are probably definitely going to be there at the end and make the college football playoff, barring some kind of freak injury or something like that. I think both coaches would want their defenses to play better, but at the same time, when you have offenses, clicking like that, it's hard to get stops, from anybody. So great football game. And like Gene said, I think both kids definitely both showed up and rose to the occasion, the brightest lights, which is always a good thing to see. So it was a fun game to watch.
On Tennessee's defense, Caleb Red Herring was a man possessed. And don't call me Aaron Carter, was all over the field. With that being said, there wasn't a lot of defense being played in that football game.
No, it wasn't. I was definitely expecting Georgia's
defense.
defense to be. I was expecting Georgia's defense to be better. That's the one thing that I was like, whoa, like this is where we're at now. But the offense looked good. I think I went in with the question mark of what can Gunnar do. Gunnar showed you that, in the moment, he was not afraid of it at all. He felt calm, cool, and collective literally the entire game there. And, you talk about being down 8, you go down and, you convert 4th downs and, you ultimately get a 2-point conversion. And then, you go in overtime. I know he didn't have to necessarily do much there because of the big run that broke it off right at the beginning there. But he was ready for the moment at all times in that game. And, it's a different kind of Georgia, but a Georgia that is still scary nonetheless. And, Tennessee hung right there with them pretty much the entire game. And I'd argue that they should have won the football game there. But the other game that I did want to talk about, though, was the other one that went right down to the wire there as well. It was the nightcap, the Texas A&M Notre Dame game. Ultimately ended 41-40. Notre Dame took the lead, just under 3 minutes, and they had a bad snap on the extra point, and then Texas A&M drives down. They score the game-winning touchdown and convert their extra point with like under 15 seconds left, and A&M ultimately wins the football game. Just quick reactions here before we go into previews.
You guys are way smarter than I am when it comes to college football. All I want to say is Mario Craver was an absolute dog in that football game for A&M. He was a dog in that football game. Marcel, we knew we were getting out of Marcel Reed. Mario Craver was unguardable. Sophomore wide receiver out of A&M.
Yeah, and a big catch on the final drive. I mean, me and Cottrell were texting actually when this is going on. It's amazing how much better Notre Dame's football offense looks when you give Jeremiah Love the football a lot. Just go out and put up 40 points. It's weird that happens. I will tell you this. The strength of that Notre Dame team this year was supposed to be their defense with what they were bringing back and what they thought they were going to have. I don't think it's close to last year's unit, and I think they need to get kind of a reality check or a grip on that and figure it out. They're a tough 0-2. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they've lost to 2 ranked teams, but Texas. This is a different Texas A&M team, and you have to give them credit. I think this is a lot of. I know me, definitely Cottrell, who loved them last year and loves them again this year. This is what I think we thought we were going to see last year from them offensively. Way more wide open, kind of not like a stuffy, 3-yard and a pile of dust Texas A&M team that we're kind of used to, minus, the Johnny years. But they're good. They're good. You mentioned Craver. Defense, obviously, lacks a little bit to be desired there on that side. But again, that being said, kind of like the Georgia-Tennessee game, when you're playing against teams that just have too many weapons on the other side, the offense is always going to win in college football. Kids are just too good. I don't know where Notre Dame goes from here. I don't think their schedule is good enough to get them in, but we'll see what happens. They're still ranked somehow. So
don't get me started on that.
We're not going to, but because we'll be here the rest of the night. But Texas A&M looks good. Texas A&M look good. That's it. I mean, I think you got to tip your hand to Texas A&M. Going into South Bend, especially at night, is not an easy place to play. They handle business. Like I said, they had their ball in their hands at the end to win it, and they went right down the field. So you got to tip your cap to A&M, and I think that seat with Marcus Freeman is officially starting to get hot now.
What? Yeah. You think he's on a hot seat?
Yeah.
I don't know at all. We're in the national championship last year.
Standards are standards.
They lost to 2 ranked. Oh, I disagree completely.
Okay.
You know more about college football than I do, so I'll digress. But
I disagree.
We're in the national championship last year. I think Marcus Freeman's seat is ice cold. It's chilling. He's fine.
They go 8-4 this year. We'll see.
Might have been a little fart, little gas that warmed it up a little bit, but I don't think the seat warmers are on. I think it's maybe a hair above room temperature.
All right. Well, I see so many ranked versus ranked games this week, but I don't see any that really make me intrigued or I think that are going to play a huge role in the national championship. And with baseball, can we just what games do you think we absolutely have to cover that you guys aren't going to go in deep depth on Saturday morning?
I mean, we're going to go over all of the ranked view. I think we got 4 or 5 games that we're covering, so we'll go over all of them. But I guess you want to get
Texas
through
Tech at Utah. I mean, what do we care?
We want to get through Pick'em.
I mean, it's a bigger game than you'd probably like to lead on, but
I mean, for the sake of time, though, I mean, we are going to be going over them on Saturday.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's
but definitely got Pick'em.
So we can talk about MLB playoffs. I think that's a bigger topic. Are we on agreement there?
I'm with it. Like I said, right. we'll cover them in depth on Saturday on Coast to Coast.
Make sure
maybe we'll even sprinkle in some Marcus Freeman. Maybe we'll put Marcus Freeman on the grill just for you, Bill.
On the grill.
All right, but go ahead, throw these up here.
Screw you guys and your super dog points. By the way, I had a good week outside super dog. I can't hit that to save my life.
That's the only thing I'm hitting right now. 3 for 3 so far.
Same.
How we want to do this?
Honestly, might as well go same order as we did NFL.
All right.
Just keep it easy.
Sounds good. Okay. All
right, so I got some picks here that are not. They are the very opposite of sexy. First one, I like Baylor -2.5 at home versus Arizona State. Arizona State is a team that has looked underwhelming so far this year. Obviously, the upset loss against Mississippi State. I think Baylor has looked very well offensively. Sawyer Robertson has had it going, and he hasn't thrown any picks. He's been very efficient as a quarterback there. I think the Baylor offense is rolling. If they put up 30 in that one, I think they clear that 2.5 rather easily. Second game, I'm going to just kind of go off of, one of the teams that we talked about earlier here. I'm going to go with Notre Dame -25.5 versus Purdue. I think Purdue is a very bad football team, and Notre Dame is hungry to get their first win. You have people saying that they shouldn't be ranked, and I'm one of those people there. I think this has to be one of those games where you kind of put up some style points and things like that, and Notre Dame offense hasn't been the problem. It's really been the defense. So I think they score plenty enough offensively to cover that 25.5 point marker there. Last game I'll have here, I like Washington State +20.5 versus Washington. Washington State got their doors absolutely blown off last week against North Texas, but so I do think they are looking to rebound from that. But on the flip side of it, Washington is, in my opinion, looking ahead to next week's matchup against number 1 Ohio State. So I think that 20.5 is a big number to have in a game, especially in-state rivalry. I expect Jimmy Rogers as the head coach to put together a game plan to keep it very competitive there. I like him to cover that number, not necessarily win though, which is why I didn't have them as my super dog. My super dog, I like Bowling Green +26.5 at Louisville. Look, Drew Pine is a quarterback that has a ton of experience. He has no turnovers on the season. 26.5 is a big number to cover without getting any turnovers. And Bowling Green has been consistent. They're averaging 23 points on the season. Eddie George has come in and really gotten the most out of those group of guys there at Bowling Green. I still think they lose the football game, but I think they cover that 26.5 number to pick me up some more super dog points.
I love it.
Well, I'm going against Cottrell in 2 of mine this week, which will fare well for one of us because we all picked the same games last week and we all suck. So, first game I'm going to pick, Alex, this will make you happy, and I can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm going to go Iowa -2.5 at Rutgers. I think Rutgers is coming out of the gate struggling a little bit. I think Iowa will actually be able to throw the ball downfield against a young secondary at Rutgers. So I'm going to go Iowa -2.5. The defense is still going to be stifling. I think Rutgers is going to struggle to move the ball. I think Iowa pulls out a slop or, a low scoring, old school type Big Ten game. Second game, Illinois is +5.5 at Indiana. I think Illinois has already shown how good they are. Indiana has not been tested yet. I think it'd be 5.5-point favorites at home. After Illinois just went on the road and demolished Duke, coming in playing with a ton of confidence. I actually think Illinois might win the game outright, but I'll take the 5.5 on the road. Last game, I'm going to go Arizona State +2.5 on the road. Minus the upset at the beginning of the year. The second half of that game, they played great, and they've looked better since then. I think Baylor's had periods where they've looked good, have periods where they've been a little shaky. I think this is the game that kind of turns Arizona State's year around. So I think they go to Baylor and win, but I'll take the +2.5. If I'm wrong, then Arizona State really does stink like their coach said, like Dillingham said. Superdog, I'm going to go Purdue +25.5 against Notre Dame. I think Purdue had expectations this year of being really, really bad. I don't think they're as bad as we think they are. They hung in the game last week with USC for most of the game until really late fourth quarter turnover that USC ended up winning by 2 possessions. But that was a 1-possession game a lot of the day. It's kind of an old school rivalry game. Purdue and Indiana play each other almost every year. Don't think they have any shot of winning the football game, but I think they hang in it. So 25.5 is a lot. I think Purdue will give me some super dog points. So going Purdue +25.5.
I think you're cheating yourself a point. I'm pretty sure it's 26.5. I know that because I have it on my docket.
Well, when I saw it, it was at 25.5 too.
Cool.
I did mine right before we came on.
I
so it
will
was
take the 25.5 because I am on the other side. My picks are very, very chalky. They're very. This is a perfect 0-3 week for Gene. This is what this is.
No,
This
it's
is
not.
me looking at. I call this week. Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. Give me Clemson minus 16.5. I think they bounce back. We're national champion aspirations. I'll take Clemson minus 16.5 for the bounce back. Give me Tennessee minus 38. Yeah, we'll lay to 38. Who cares? They're going to beat them by 50. And then I got cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes cheering her name. Give me the Notre Dame Fighting Irish minus 25.5 at home versus Purdue. And for my super dog, you want to talk about trap games? Kittrell's talk about trap. You want to talk about trap games? There's no other reason to pick this game. It's the Civil War. Give me Oregon State plus 35.5 versus Oregon. Next week, Oregon travels to Happy Valley to take on Penn State. Could they be looking ahead? Oregon State stinks. I don't know what happens. Maybe Oregon sits all their starters in the second half and I pick up a couple points. I don't care. I'll take Oregon State in the rivalry game plus 35.5 versus Oregon. I just try to make it fun. I just try to interject some energy. All right, MLB. We got some MLB action. Shelly, I want to start this, and I'll just pass it right over to you. But I want to start this by saying, are you fully confident heading into this postseason with this Philadelphia Phillies team?
I mean, if you're going to tell me they're going to play, they're playing right now, yeah. I mean, could they go into the playoffs? And could the bats go quiet like they did last year? Sure. It's playoff baseball. It happens. I just think this team is playing really good baseball like I thought they were going to and like they have most of the year. And again, I think it's we kind of said it last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe it was, when me and you were talking about it. I'm not saying that they're an overwhelming favorite. I can just look at every other team, and I feel like there's bigger holes or detriments with all those teams than there are with the Phillies. And if it boils down to that, then so be it. I mean, I think with adding Duran in the back end of that bullpen, he has been lights out. I think he is huge. Shortens the game. I will still take our pitching staff over anybody else that's going to get into the playoffs. I don't care what side you're on.
Would you feel better though with Zach?
Well, yeah, dude. Would I feel better if one of the top 3 pitchers in baseball is healthy? Yeah, no shit.
I love the way Christopher Sanchez is pitched, and I love some Ranger Suarez, but I don't. Are you going to try out Nola or Luzardo for Game 3?
Nola for the most part. I mean, listen, Nola. Listen, you can shit on Nola all you want, and I am one of the ones that does it sometimes, but he's also won a lot of big games for this team, man, and he's pitched in a lot of high pressure, stressful situations, done really well. I think he's looked pretty good since he came back. And Luzardo is the guy that's going to be the 4th guy, and he probably doesn't even pitch the first series. So, if he does, then he's the guy that he's going to be the guy that's going to come in because, again, in the playoffs, if somebody starts getting ripped right from the get-go, you get him out of the game early so you can bring him back later in the series. So he's going to be the short leash guy. So if any of those other 3 get in trouble, he's going to be the guy that comes in. Luzardo I like him. He's tough, though. To me, he's a lot better than Taijuan, but you know what you're getting from him right away. If he gets through the first 2 innings and doesn't get roughed up, he gets in the zone and he'll start striking people out and he'll give you 6 or 7. He starts getting batted around in the first 2 innings. That's what it's going to be that night. So, again, you look at whatever, I'll put our pitching staff up against Milwaukee easily, and our lineup is way better. I don't know what the Dodgers are going to settle on. I guess they're going to throw Shohei and try to get 4 or 5 innings out of him. Maybe Kershaw is not Kershaw anymore.
Kershaw's not pitching. It's going to be Yamamoto, Shohei, Glasnow, and Snell. That's what you're getting.
There you go. And
I think that starting pitching is better than the Phillies right now. I think our total
not this year. It's not this year. It's not.
The bullpen is a travesty, and I think the Phillies.
Yeah, that's the reason why the Dodgers have stunk. Yeah. The bullpen's giving up home runs like they're going out of style.
Who wins the AL West? Kittrell.
Seattle.
Seattle's on a hell of a run. 10-game win streak.
Big dumper at 55 last night.
Yeah, Seattle's on the win streak. Jordan is officially out indefinitely. Like, we don't know when he'll be back. So I mean, I think it's going to be Seattle's to lose.
Okay. And by the way, let me give some credit where credit's due. The freaking Cleveland Guardians. They 5 straight. They're in the thick of the wild card. What is going on? They're 2.5 games back. They have a couple 3-game series is coming up versus Detroit. I'm not like trying to be that guy after everything they went through, sellers at the deadline and couple guys suspended for gambling. The Guardians are here.
They are. They're up 2-0 right now. I've been kind of monitoring it over the Tigers now. Like, talk about 2.5 of the wild card. And obviously, that's going to be the most likely way to go, but they're 5.5 back of the Tigers in the division. And, this is a game right now. They got 4 more games specifically against the Tigers. So they 100% are, if they don't make the playoffs, it's at their own feet. Like, it's not one of those situations like, oh, you got to hope that it goes the right way, everywhere else across the league. Everybody who they're playing, like, they have people in front of them who they should beat. And then they have a series, I believe, with the Rangers as well to end the season. So obviously the Rangers are in that hunt there as well. You got 4 more games after tonight against the Tigers there. So if you want to make the playoffs, it's right there in front of you to go and take it. So they've been balling. I just hope they continue with the gas.
They've been a team of streaks, man. They won 11 in a row earlier in the year, and then I think turned around and lost
10 in a row, and then win 11 in a row.
They are a streaky team, man.
Shelly, I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
The New York Mets were on an absolute free-for-all. And now we're headed into the home stretch of the season. They have San Diego tonight for 2 more, Washington for 3, Chicago for 3, and they end 6 straight on the road with Chicago and then Miami. Is there any chance that the Mets cough up the playoffs? They're 2.5. They have a 2-game lead on 3 teams, essentially.
Yep.
What do you think that the Mets make it in? They back in, or do you think that one of these teams behind them, the Diamondbacks, the Reds, or the Giants, figure out a way to catch up?
I mean, you talked about Cleveland hanging in. I mean, the fact that Arizona's even in this conversation right now is crazy as well. You look at what they traded away, and what they've had injured all year and stuff like that, and the fact that they're still in the fight. You got to tip your cap there. Cincinnati's the wild card team for me. With as young as they are, with Ellie and all those guys there, I think if they can stay in it through this weekend, get it down to 1.5, and have those young guys kind of really catch a sniff of getting in, I think it could be real interesting. I said it. I know a lot of people were pissed off last year when we lost to them, but I've said it from the get-go. Minus Frankie and Alonso and people like that, everybody else on that team played above their head last year in that series, and they're not doing it this year. They're all playing a back for the most part, back down to about where they are as a normal player, and you see what they are. It would be kind of a colossal, collapse for them not to get in, but
would it be worse than 7 games with 17 to play?
No, because that's a division. Division league. That's a little bit different. But I wouldn't even count San Francisco out with that pitching they have. I don't know who they have left, and a lot of this all gets interesting too because eventually the last series and a half, if you're playing somebody who's already in, that's when you start like Detroit and Cleveland could get interesting because if Detroit somehow wins this series and they play them again, correct?
Yes.
If Detroit's locked in, then all of a sudden they start sitting people, and then it's advantage Cleveland. Like that stuff's gonna factor in the last weekend of the year. So, listen, I'm not gonna lose any sleep if the Mets completely fold and don't get in. I hope they don't, to be honest. But I think the possibility is very real. It's very real. Miami's playing everybody tough right now. Washington's kind of falling apart a little bit. But
Padres up 6-3 on the Mets right now. So
I was going to say the Padres are a game out for the division lead in the West. So they're playing for keeps right now. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they lose that series. They're just not playing well either. They're not hitting when they have to, and they've gotten a couple really good starts from their pitching staff, and they're wasting them.
I think for me, though, the wild card is in the NL is just one of those things where I truly think Cincinnati is the only team that really has a opportunity to steal one of those wild card spots. Because at some point, like the story with Arizona is great, and that yes, they're in a similar boat as what the Guardians are, but I feel like at some point, like they are going to just run out of gas, like being major sellers at the deadline. Like, yes, the Guardians were sellers too, but like they still have talent. They didn't get rid of Quan, they didn't get rid of J-Ram. Like you get rid of Eugenio, you get rid of Naylor, like two of your biggest bats in the lineup. I think that's going to come back and bite them at some point. And then on the flip side of that, you have the Giants. I think the Giants are committed to just being a middle of the pack baseball team. You go out and get Devers, and you thought they were going to have the opportunity to potentially, win that division, especially the way they were playing early. I don't see the Giants making that run. I think the Reds are the only one that are going to potentially dethrone the.
I couldn't disagree with you more.
They traded Merrill Kelly too. Don't forget that.
They play 7 out of their last 10 games versus the Cubs and Brewers. I hate the Reds in this situation. I think there's a real opportunity for the Giants, depending on if the 4-game series with LA, because after LA, they get 6 games at home versus St. Louis and Colorado, 2 teams that have basically quit on the season. I think the Giants are a team to look out for.
Yeah, if you're gonna, I would say their last 6 is probably is the best situation on anybody's after hearing 100%. That. It's again, Cincinnati's intriguing because they're young, and if they get in, I think they'll be exciting. But
Tito's special.
Again, yeah, not a bad deal here, but
I hate Arizona's setup. They play Philly, they play LA, they play San Diego. I hate their setup.
That's tough. That's real tough. But
put them in the coffin.
I tip the hat to them for even staying in it when you trade your number 1 and your 2 best bats. So
I do have one more baseball question I need to ask, but we're running a little bit late, but I love this question. Right now it's almost lined up for Yankees Red Sox in the opening series. I am hoping so much that we can get Yankees Red Sox. It could be Yankees Red Sox, or it could be Yankees Astros in New York. The price of admission for Yankees Red Sox in New York, I might have to hit up Nick, who's downstairs, and be like, man, give me a ticket. Let me go with you. I want to watch this. I want to be there for the Cathedral. Crochet in Yankee Stadium, unhittable.
That would be interesting. Because I would have to look at it, but I would have to line up, and I would assume that he would be available. So I would assume you would get Crochet versus Fried. It'd be a great game. That's what playoff baseball is. It's your 1 versus your 1. That's what you want. Don't call it the Cathedral. The Cathedral's gone. New Yankee Stadium's dog shit.
I don't disagree with you. I just my point being is I don't care if Yankee Stadium.
I hate the Yankees, but the old Yankee Stadium was incredible. And when you go look at the the Wall of Fame and all the history it had, it was great. It sucked because I hate the Yankees, but it was great. The new one sucks. The new one's dog shit.
All right. Well, we got to get into You Gotta Be Kidding Me. That's the one I'll be watching. I agree. You can come to game 1. See, I would go. You got the tickets already. I will go. I'm taking off whatever I'm doing. That's my 40th birthday present, Nick. And by the way, Nick is in here. Yankee Stadium is horrendous. I love
what?
That Nick, Yankees fan.
Yeah. I mean, if he's a Yankees fan and he went to the old one, he probably loves the old one, like all the fans do. The new one's terrible.
All right. Well, I got a fun. You got to be kidding me. I'm wondering what you gentlemen have this week.
All right, so nobody truly upset me this week, but this was something I definitely want to talk about because the news just broke today. So Fred Curley, guy who's medaled in the Olympics in the past, he's medaled at World Championships in track and field. He's a USA sprinter, and today he signed with Enhanced Games. Now, what makes that part funny is that Enhanced Games is a organization that is essentially going to allow athletes to compete without drug testing them. So you can use steroids, you can use whatever you want to. You go out, you compete, and they're going to sanction everything and go from there. But what makes this funny is that Fred Curley signed with them after about a month ago. He was banned from competition for his anti-doping whereabouts failure. Essentially, what that means is they were coming to drug test him, and he wasn't anywhere to be found. And once that happens, they essentially treat that the same as a failed drug test, and you're no longer able to compete. And Fred said he was going to appeal it, and of course, now this news comes out. And it really feels like, Fred had something to hide there, and he was like, all right, I'm not going to win my appeal. Yeah, I probably was juicing. I might as well just finish juicing and see how fast that I can ultimately get down to next year when I actually have to compete. So this week for me, Fred Curley dropping your appeal and ultimately deciding that you're going to go juice and run in the Enhanced Games.
Come on, you got to be kidding me.
This feels like a weak shot. He doesn't have one.
Nope. Slow week for bad people.
I have a good one. It's not a good one. It's a funny one. And I'm not trying to be this dude. I'm really not. I don't know if you could do something more tone deaf than what Kyler Murray did recently.
Oh, boy.
You didn't know. This was the photo that was posted on Kyler Murray's Instagram. I don't understand how you don't see what's wrong with this photo. You got to be
kidding. He had done it on purpose. He had to do it on purpose.
This is definition of you got to be kidding me. Kyler Murray putting a photo up on Instagram wearing a Vic jersey with this pit bull. Are you out of your freaking mind? He later had to apologize because the Arizona Cardinals were losing sponsorships and PETA was coming at his neck. But come on, Kyler, you got to be better than this. Putting up a photo on Instagram with you and your pit bull wearing a Michael Vick jersey, you got to be out of your mind. So for this week, Kyler Murray.
Come on, you got to be kidding me.
How old was Kyler when that happened?
Let me see Kyler's
Probably,
age.
I don't know.
Like 12?
Yeah, probably somewhere around there.
I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't aware of it. I'm just curious.
Hold on, Vic. Dog allegations year. I'm gonna get it right now for you. I think it was 2006, if I had to guess. 2007. So 18 years ago, he was 10.
Again, I mean, I'm sure he still knew, but
hey, God, CJ, hey man, no one raised more money for dogs than Michael Vick. I don't think more people killed more dogs than Michael Vick either.
I remember the good old days at the beginning of the show when Kyler Murray was the golden boy for Gene. It's crazy how far we've come.
I'll tell you. All right, so watch this. Right, I've said it multiple times. I guarantee Cottrell can pinpoint the exact moment it happened.
I vaguely remember this now, actually.
What was the exact moment that I turned on Kyler Murray? There was a moment.
he yelled at AJ Green during the
That's
game.
what it was.
Correct.
That's what it was.
He
That's
threw
what it
a
was.
pick six. And it was a
Blame it
terrible
on
pick.
AJ. Yeah.
And he threw it, showed up AJ Green, veteran wide receiver on his team. And I was so annoyed at that. I hated what he did there. So yeah, that was the moment.
Kyler, I'm sure got a lot of likes on that one though. I'm not gonna lie, that takes some stones to even post. Because you absolutely, I don't care. Like being that being the case, then me and Kyler are the exact same age, and 100%, like everything about like the Mike Vick situation that happened there. Like he wasn't too young to not know about it. Like that's funny. That's funny. That's a good one, Gene.
Well, it's like Gene said, it's all good and well until the football team starts losing sponsorships, and then it's take the goddamn picture down now.
All right, well, gentlemen, any final thoughts, comments?
Got nothing this week.
Nada.
I had a fun week. I love talking sports with you guys, and every so often I'll stop and just remember how thankful I am that I get to hop on, talk sports, and have all you guys in the chat talking. Appreciate it. We've averaged over 1,000 views weekly, and it's cool to constantly be able to have those conversations and see more and more people hop in the chat. So for the 290 listening live that were on Facebook tonight or Twitter, for the 27,000 downloads that we have on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I appreciate you guys. Seriously, thank you. And with that, that's all we got. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cottrell, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, no run support Shally. And we are signing out.